Does Naked Whey protein powder really have nothing to hide? Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to review a highly requested product known as Naked Whey protein powder. In this video, we're going to take a look at their ingredients, their quality, and if it's actually a good option for you. But first, hi, my name is Katey. I'm a registered dietitian and certified personal trainer. My goal with this channel is to help you learn more about nutrition, fitness, and wellness so that you can be your best, whatever that looks like. I also love to do product reviews. If any products or topics you want me to cover, just let me know in the comments below. All right, so let's get started. What is Naked Nutrition? Naked Nutrition is a supplement company that boldly claims that they have nothing to hide, hence their name. It was founded in 2014 by an athlete known as Steven Zeminski. And the reason why he started this company is because he found that a lot of products had a lot of unnecessary ingredients added to them, and he wanted a much cleaner product. Since 2014, the company has expanded to over 50 different products, and they're proud to say that most of those products have 3 ingredients or less. So while they have over 50 different products, today we're going to focus on their most popular one, which is their whey protein powder. So what is Naked Whey protein powder? As the name suggests, this is a whey protein powder. As a friendly reminder, whey protein is derived from cow's milk, and it is considered the gold standard for protein powders. The reason why is because it contains a good quality protein, and it contains all the essential amino acids that are needed for proper muscle building and in good amounts. So let's take a look at the ingredient lists. When it comes to the ingredient labels, they do vary a little bit depending on if you buy a flavored or unflavored one, so I'm going to provide both labels for you. So first, let's take a look at the unflavored ingredient label. If we do take a look at their nutrition facts table, we see that 1 serving contains 2 scoops, and within those 2 scoops are 120 calories, most of which is coming from 25 grams of whey protein powder. Because it's a whey protein concentrate, it's also going to have a little bit of fat and carbs, but this isn't necessarily a bad thing. And just because something's a whey protein concentrate doesn't mean it's inherently bad or worse than a whey protein isolate. It just depends on what you're looking for. The fat and carbs that are within this whey protein powder naturally exist within milk. And so it's the fats that come in milk as well as a little bit of lactose, so that milk sugar. Again, in a pretty small amount when you take a look at it, and not something I'm at all concerned about. If we take a look at the chocolate flavor, we see that it has 160 calories. So again, this one has 25 grams of protein, so the protein content doesn't change. The only thing that really changes is the other macronutrients because of the chocolate flavoring. So to make the chocolate flavor taste like chocolate, it's going to have a little bit of sugar, so they use coconut sugar for this, and also there's a little bit of naturally occurring fat in cocoa powder. So that's only why it's a little bit higher in calories, because of that. It's just the flavoring, and I do like the fact that it is at least a natural flavor. Now, the reason why a flavored version is going to vary a little bit from the unflavored one, and why this doesn't always happen in other protein powders, is because Naked Nutrition's goal is to make sure that their products are free of artificial flavors, artificial colors, and artificial sweeteners. So in order to have the product still taste like chocolate and what you're expecting chocolate to taste like, they have to add some form of an ingredient. So they have to add sugar because they don't use artificial sweeteners, and then they have to use a bit of cocoa because they don't want to use artificial chocolate flavor. And real cocoa has fat, and then of course they add only 3 grams of sugar just to improve the taste a little bit. So it's nothing crazy here. And I'm not concerned about this at all. In terms of the other nutrients that you see in the nutrition facts table, they're just naturally occurring in milk. That's why they're in them. It's not that they're added to the product. What I do find interesting is that the servings per container changes quite a bit depending on which flavor you buy, especially if you buy unflavored versus flavored. The reason for this is because they measure their containers by weight instead of volume. And so because there are also added cocoa and sugar and a little bit of other ingredients in flavored products, it's going to weigh a little bit more per serving, so there are fewer servings per container. So to put this into perspective, if you bought the unflavored version, you're going to get 76 servings per container. If you buy the chocolate flavor, it's going down to 60 servings per container. And if you buy the double chocolate, which is obviously heavier, it goes down to 53 servings per container. So from a cost perspective, if you're looking for the best bang for your buck, I would certainly go with the unflavored one because you're going to get more servings for the same cost. If you want it to taste good, then you're just going to have to accept the fact that you're going to get slightly fewer servings per container and just accept that fate. Okay, so let's go back to the protein content for just a second. So like I mentioned, 1 serving has 25 grams of protein, so I love to see this. Now, if you've ever watched my videos before, you'll know that I do like it when 1 serving is 1 scoop. This is 2 scoops per serving, but it's probably just based on the size of the scoop that they provide you with. Either way though, the actual serving provides you with 25 grams of protein, and it's not like you're adding multiple scoops at a time, so it's not that big of a deal to me. If you're interested in building muscle, this is a good serving of protein. But what we also need to focus on is the actual amino acid content. Fortunately, Naked Nutrition did provide an amino acid profile for their protein powder, and I absolutely love when companies do this, so kudos to them for this. In particular, for muscle building, we want to see a good dose of the branched chain amino acid known as leucine. Ideally, we want to see at least 2.5 grams per serving. So in both the unflavored and chocolate version, you have almost 3 grams of leucine, which I love to see. This is a very good amount, and it helps to promote muscle building. So with this protein powder, we have a good serving amount of high quality protein and a good amount of leucine. Beyond the ingredients we've talked about, we don't have much else to look at because Naked Nutrition focuses on a really simple ingredient list, which is nice, and the video becomes a lot shorter because of this. With the unflavored option, this is literally just whey protein concentrate. That's it. They don't add anything else. And for the chocolate flavored one, we already talked about this, so it has a little bit of cocoa powder and a little bit of coconut sugar, and that's it. And even with the other flavors, so for example, strawberry, they actually use dried strawberries to flavor it. The one flavor that has a few extra ingredients is the peanut butter chocolate option, and it kind of makes sense once you think about it because they have to add peanut flour and then they have to add the cocoa and sugar as well. So it's just a little bit higher in ingredients, but it's just because there's more flavors involved. And they add a little bit of sea salt here because it just helps balance the flavor out a little bit better. Like I've said, Naked Nutrition really focuses on keeping the ingredient list very, very simplified and minimalistic. What is really interesting about this protein powder is that it doesn't contain any emulsifiers, which if you've watched any of my protein powder videos before, you'll know that I say it's hard to find a protein powder without emulsifiers. So if you're looking for one, this is an option. And so overall, this is a very straightforward protein powder. If you really are looking for a product that is as minimal as possible, this is a very good option. Okay, so now let's take a look at some of their claims. If we go on their website, I do think there are a few claims that should be addressed. First of all, they make it very clear on their website that they use pasture-fed whey. And all this means is that the cows are fed a natural grass diet and can roam around. And this is good to hear. Technically speaking, the diet of a cow can change milk composition. In particular, when cows eat grass, their milk tends to have a little bit higher content of polyunsaturated fats, so the healthier fats. In terms of a protein powder, it's not something that I would be overly focused on though. They also say that their protein powder is going to help build lean muscle mass. And we already talked about this. The product has a good high quality protein and enough leucine to support this. They also say that because they use milk from pasture-fed cows, this can support a healthy immune system. This is partly true. Yes, like I mentioned, their milk composition may be improved because of their diet. However, I wouldn't say that consuming this protein powder would actually give you a meaningful amount of the compounds that would support immune health. So for example, immunoglobulins or lactoferrin. Pasture-fed whey does have a higher amount of conjugated linolenic acid, which is a type of fat. However, I would question if the amount of this type of fat is actually clinically meaningful because the fat content in this protein powder is already pretty low. So sure, that type of fat can support immune health, but I don't really think the amounts that would be in this protein powder are enough to really make a difference in your immune health. So I personally wouldn't be taking this protein powder for that reason. They also say that this protein powder can support heart health. And for this, I do question the claim. Keep in mind that this product only has about 2 to 3 grams of fat, of which half are from saturated fat. In particular, they say that their protein powder contains omega-3 fatty acids, but considering almost half of the fat that's found in this protein powder is going to be from saturated fat, the amount that's solely from omega-3s is a pretty low amount. I do question if it would actually be enough to truly support heart health in a meaningful way. Omega-3s are absolutely great for your heart. I just probably wouldn't be getting them from this protein powder. Finally, they do say that their protein powder is better absorbed because they cold press their whey protein. And I don't agree with this completely either. First of all, heat exposure technically can denature proteins. That is true. And so can other processing methods. However, the word denature just means that the 3D structure of the protein has become unraveled. This doesn't change the amino acid content of the protein at all. And most protein powders are denatured to some degree, yet the mass majority of research supports taking a protein powder from whey protein regardless of its processing methods in terms of supporting muscle building. But even if the proteins weren't denatured before you consumed them, they will be once they hit your stomach acid because that is highly acidic. And really, this breakdown of protein is a natural part of digestion. And to date, there really aren't any high quality studies to support this claim. There is one rat study and it did find some improvements in muscle building, but there are no human clinical trials that support taking a cold pressed whey protein powder and in terms of having any significant increase in muscle building compared to a normal whey protein powder. So while I actually think this protein powder is great and I would recommend it, I don't find a lot of their claims really necessary to add to their website, and they wouldn't drive me to buy it because of those. The quality of the protein powder can stand on its own. Okay, so is it third-party tested? Yes, their protein powder is third-party tested by informed informed choice. And this is awesome to see because it helps to ensure product quality and consistency. So what's on the label is actually in the product and nothing more. Okay, so do I recommend Naked Whey protein? Based on the minimal ingredient list and the high quality protein, this is a protein powder that I would recommend for most people. I also love the fact that they are third-party tested, which again just helps ensure product quality and consistency. But overall, if you are looking for a very straightforward, clean protein powder, this is a good option. And with that, I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know in the comments below if you have any other products or topics you want me to cover. And if you did find this video helpful, I would love it if you would like and subscribe to my channel because your support helps me reach more people like you. And I'll see you in the next video.